Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
Fantasy Sports puts you in control of your own team. The Nick Bonsanto Show is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, co-hosted by SFL CEO Zach Stanley and SFL COO Seth Young. The Star Fantasy League Show, on the air.
Make this game your finest hour.
Now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, rejoined, I guess, by CEO, Mr. Zachary Stanley. Where'd you go, Zach? What happened?
Well, my voice isn't what it used to be, I'll tell you that much.
Is that where you went? Your voice just disappeared for a couple days?
I went to the Jay-Z concert, and it was fantastic.
Oh, well, is that what happened to your voice? Jay-Z took it?
No, actually, Syracuse took it on Saturday.
Oh, yes, Syracuse. We were going to give a big shout-out to them on Thursday, but I completely forgot.
I thought it was going to get taken even more yesterday. Unfortunately, there wasn't much to yell at.
Speaking of nothing much to yell at, we also have COO Seth Young here.
Always a great introduction.
I have to wait until Zach says something just degrading towards you, and then I go with it. That's pretty much the intro every day at the show.
Well, you know, it's the John Old Show, so I just got to roll with the punches.
Filling that chair is almost like nothing filling that chair.
It's not nice.
Wow. That is...
You call me a big bag of air?
Yeah. I mean, your microphone is normally muted when we do the Star Fantasy League show, so you're not really even saying anything.
What?
Yeah. I mean, you didn't know that because you don't listen to the show.
Anybody hear me?
We can call him Boa now, bag of air.
Is there anybody out there? Can you hear me?
Is there anybody out there? We just gonna start singing on the show because our listener probably likes to be, serenaded once in a while. No?
Yeah, sure. Everybody
A little
likes a good
talking, a
song.
little singing.
All right, today on the Star Fantasy League show, we're going to do it a little bit backwards. Normally we do the breakdown of today's lineup, and then we tell you about tomorrow. Since there's only a 4-game slate, we're actually going to do it backwards. We're going to break down tomorrow's slate first, and then we're going to go over our lineups in the second segment, and then everybody's favorite, the fantasy accountability for NFL. This is one of the last times we get to talk about it.
We can talk about the Super Bowl? That wasn't?
The what?
Super Bowl.
It wasn't very super.
Zach, what's he talking about? There was a game yesterday? I guess there was a game yesterday. We're going to talk about it eventually. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Nick Bonsanto is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SFL Show.
You're up.
Welcome back to the Star Fantasy League show, and today we are talking things out of order, Zach. It's a little confusing, right?
We're mixing it up.
Yeah, mixing it up, or we just are confused and have no idea what's going on. I don't.
That's what Seth does every day.
What? What are we talking about?
We're talking about basketball, Seth. Sit in your corner and just sit there and smile.
Seth thinks our pool table is a racetrack. He just walks around it.
I have a model train that I'm trying to put on there.
And he yells zoom, 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 and it's kind of weird. But anyways, we are
Everybody
talking...
needs a hobby.
What we're doing today is normally we will break down a lineup, but that's coming up in our next segment. But we are talking about tomorrow. There's only a 4-game NBA slate, so we didn't want to spend 15 minutes like some shows do talking about every single player that nobody cares about. Fantasy's all about the people that matter. We're not talking about the 18th man for the Minnesota Timberwolves because, Seth, there's 18 players on the team, right?
Unless it's a 2-game slate, and then maybe we do.
There's not 18 players on an NBA team, Seth. That's
I don't
what
know.
I was...
How am I supposed to know these things?
I'm well aware. That's why I made the comment.
It's 15.
It's 15?
Yes.
So when they talk about the 15th man, they're talking about the last guy on the roster.
They're talking about the white guy, yeah, at the end of the bench.
Nobody
who
really
cheers.
talks about him, though.
But wasn't Robert Sacre the 15th man on the Lakers?
Very close, yes. Except then he got bumped up to like 11.
I like Robert
Why
Sacre.
are we talking about players that
He's
are
a
this
great
awful?
dancer.
God,
That's
You
what
know,
they're on the
everybody
bench
thinks
for.
he's French.
Robert Sacre?
Sacre bleu.
Do you even know what that means?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, my goodness.
It means sacred blue.
No, it does. Stop that. You will not know. No, Seth, you do not know French.
We have
you
some
actually,
French listeners.
You actually do know French.
It's sacred
That's true.
blue.
All right, let's break down tomorrow's breakdown of breakdowns. I'm just going to say that word 1,000 times because that's apparently funny. Breakdown. No? Okay.
Absolutely not.
What is
sorry.
wrong with you tonight?
I have literally no. We haven't done this in 3 days, so I'm kind of rusty. I don't
It's
really
a
know
drought.
what
It's
this
a drought.
Seth, this is now a perfect time for you to say your catchphrase.
What?
Never mind. Fine.
Do I have a catchphrase?
Let's start off with one of the teams that's on a back-to-back tomorrow. Indiana's playing right now. They're playing at Atlanta tomorrow. Atlanta has injuries out the wazoo. What are you looking at for a game that has one offensive presence and their team has half a team basically?
Well, it's still such a low line because of the back-to-back largely. So I would think that this game will end up still being pretty close, and there are some players to look at I like Paul George tomorrow.
Really? So you're going straight off the bat at the highest possible. He's going to be top 5 tomorrow, I say.
And it's hard to say because Paul George has just been driving everybody crazy lately. He's had like 4 straight games of 20 fantasy points.
Yeah, that's for a guy that costs you $20,000 or $18,000. That's you want
the
40.
guy who's actually cheaper than him that's been holding more value as of late is Lance Stevenson, who's been playing out of his. Rebounding, assists. He does it all.
I was going to say, you mean the human triple-double machine? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
he's a
referring to?
monster
He has
right
the
now.
most triple-doubles this season of any player. That's the biggest surprise of the season.
I think he's going to be the difference maker for them in the playoffs. His game has just gone up another notch.
Yeah, what are they going to do after the season? They need him. They need to give him all of the money.
They do.
All of it. Just give it to him.
I think
Silver
he's
platter.
more valuable than Paul George right now just because his game is so rounded and defensively he's all over it.
That is
What
true.
do you think, Seth?
I think Paul George has 2 first names, so I can't root for the guy.
Thank you. That is perfect. What about on the Atlanta side of the ball? We have Teague just came back from injury. He played okay. Shelvin Mack in his absence was playing great, but now his value is pretty much gone. Antich is still out, so Millsap's being forced to play center. He's basically out of position, but he's still putting up these huge 45 to 50-point fantasy nights.
Millsap's playing awesome, and I don't think that Hibbert has the quickness to keep up with Millsap.
I was going to say, can he even guard him on the outside?
No.
Are they going to put Mahimmy
No,
on him?
and the amount of threes that Millsap shoots, stuff like that, he's so versatile in his offensive game. I would definitely look at him, even though the matchup itself doesn't seem to be too attractive.
I was going to say, somebody has to score in that game, right? I mean,
Someone.
you could talk about how bad the matchup is all
And
day,
actually,
but somebody.
Teague had a really good first game back. Really good. I think he put up over 30 fantasy points.
That's
So
not.
I would definitely give him a look, especially because his value's dropped a little bit since he's been out.
Yeah, that's true. And he's not on a minutes limitation, clearly, because he played a lot in the first game.
Yeah, this is one of those nights where you'd like to avoid some teams. I mean,
But you
usually
can't.
you'd like to avoid anybody that's playing Indiana, but you're probably going to have to choose somebody. Especially, it's actually a 195 over/under, which isn't too bad.
I'm assuming it has something to do with Indiana's back-to-back, because I'm assuming
Yeah,
they're
they'll be a
gonna
little
score bit
slower,
more.
yeah.
The pace will be a little bit higher because Atlanta's trying to push on them.
Yeah.
Who knows? Is Atlanta going to really try that hard? We don't know. That's a team that their effort level is just
At least
confusing.
the spread makes it seem like this game could be tight, and you're not going to have people being pulled out in the third quarter.
That's true. All right, let's move on to a game where really low pace, and it's just confusing to me. Chicago, Phoenix. It's a 193 over/under. Phoenix is favored by 6. Chicago's on the second half to a back-to-back. Why is this line so high for Phoenix?
This is a tough one, honestly.
And why is the line so low?
I don't particularly understand it. They've been playing very well, but there's not that much to look at in this game, nor is there much to look at ever in a Chicago game, I feel like.
Wait, whoa! You're not a DJ Augustine fan? He's
I
been
d-
at the
actually,
8,700-ish.
DJ Augustine is the guy that I have written down out of everybody in this game.
People worried about Kirk Heinrich coming back and getting some of his minutes back. That you're living in the past. You're living 5 years ago. Kirk Heinrich has no fantasy implication whatsoever. He's not hurting DJ Augustine.
Yeah, this isn't a very favorable matchup for the point guards at all. But I think Jimmy Butler could have a decent game in this one, especially if they start doing a little run and gun. Jimmy Butler, a guy that can get a lot of steals and blocks, fill up the stat column, and you're looking at a guy that's going to at least produce 20 fantasy points for you, I would think, in this game.
What about from the bigs? Because Chicago has this thing where Noah won't play a couple days, Boozer won't play a couple days. I feel like they're on makes no sense because they're not really going towards anything.
I think Noah is the only big to look at in this game.
What if one of them sits out? Are you high on Taj Gibson? Because the centers and the power forwards for Phoenix don't really play defense. We've mentioned this before.
Absolutely. The whole Boozer Gibson saga drives me absolutely crazy because you can put Boozer in and he can have a great game, but Tom Thibodeau doesn't like to put him in the fourth quarter at all.
Yeah,
and just leaves Taj Gibson in. Taj Gibson gets about as many minutes as Boozer, a little bit less, so he has trouble making value. That's just a big mess unless one of their bigs is out.
This is true. All right, quickly, let's move on to 2 games that we are going to be targeting tomorrow, starting with the one that I'm assuming we're all going to be looking at is Los Angeles Lakers on the road at Minnesota. Minnesota's an 11.5-point favorite, 214 over/under. That's got to be the game of the night, right?
This is the game of the night. This is where most of the players that you have in your lineup should come from. I think Ricky Rubio is going to have a great game.
Yeah, going against either Steve Blake or Nash or Farmar or Kendall Marshall, who are all atrocious on defense.
Yeah, they don't have anybody that can keep up with him.
No Pau Gasol tomorrow night, too. So scoring is coming from somewhere on that Laker team.
I'm looking at Jody Meeks.
Okay.
I like Jody Meeks as a shooting guard against Kevin Martin, who just does not play defense at all. He never has. He never does anything except score points.
He doesn't care.
Which makes him a risk anytime you choose him. He's a guy that can score a ton and hit a bunch of threes, but he really doesn't do anything
and
else.
one rebound and maybe
Yeah,
zero
he'll give you like
assists.
2 rebounds. That's really special.
This is very true. Anybody else you're looking at this game? Obviously, there's no center. Turiaf's kind of a
If you
he's usually
can
play,
put
right?
in Kevin Love, this is the guy that has a shot right now on any given night. He had a shot on any given night before Pekovic went out to score
That's
50
true.
fantasy points.
Now he's the guy.
But now he is the guy. He's playing center. He's playing inside out. He should have the best game of the night for sure. And if there's a way that you can fit him into your lineup, you got to do it.
Can you do that by adding Ronny Turiaf as the guy who's playing at center? He wasn't bad last game. He had about 25 fantasy points. The game before that, he wasn't as good. He had about 15, 16.
Well, he's serviceable at that amount of fantasy points with such a low salary.
Well, don't forget, Los Angeles is terrible inside. Awful, like historically bad. They're 30th against the center position.
It kind of reminds me like if Seth was playing.
Oh,
I'm a great basketball player.
There's no way that's possible.
I know how to box out.
We had an inter-office tournament, and Seth came in last every single time.
That's not even true.
He is the national champion of last place.
Why are you lying to the public?
Because guess what? They have no idea if we're telling the truth. Quickly, Zach, let's go to the last game.
It's not true.
The one with no line. There's no line out yet because, for some reason, I'm honestly not sure. Charlotte and Golden State. Lee and Kemba Walker are up in the air, but I've seen reports that Kemba Walker said he's 100% and he will play. That drastically changes the outlook on this game.
Kemba's been out a while, though, and I would be worried
has.
that he might have some sort of minutes limit, but that takes Ramon Sessions out of
Completely.
contention.
He was a play every day that he was gone.
Yeah, especially for his value.
What about Jefferson? The man has been on the biggest tear of his career. He went for like 65 fantasy points the day before.
I can't believe how well he's been doing.
He's the steal of the season from the free agent market.
That's the same reason that you want to look at Kevin Love is because Jefferson just picked on the Lakers
they're bad.
for 40 points and 18 rebounds.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, that was bad.
But I like Andrew Bogut tomorrow.
Yeah, Bogut's been on a tear too. Those two guys have been
Bogut's been
it up.
playing great. Nobody thought that he would be able to put up these kind of numbers, especially with his history of injuries.
And that system fits him really, really nicely. He just sits there, gets 12, 14 rebounds a game, just hangs out, blocks a few shots, scores his points. He's great.
I think he'll have a great game. Jefferson, all that he can do on the court, he isn't known for his defense at all.
That's an understatement.
So, yeah, I would definitely lean towards Bogut in the game. There's not that much else that's really that appealing to me. Obviously, Curry's always in play, but I think if you're going to spend that type of money on any player tomorrow night, it has to be Kevin Love.
What about Ersan Ilyasova?
He is on the Milwaukee Bucks.
That is the greatest
Oh,
way
he was
to
on
end
Minnesota.
this
Oh, yeah,
ever.
that's right. He's on the Bucks. The Bucks are terrible. I know that.
I think you got Ilyasova confused with Minnesota.
Yeah, maybe.
What happened?
It does sound very
man,
similar.
I'm
Thank you
sorry.
for chiming in there.
That has to be where we end the segment, guys. That was amazing. Thank you, Seth. When we come back, we're going to be talking
you're
today's NBA lineups. You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network. That's what I'm here for.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Nick Monsanto Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show. Let's do this. Time for your Star Fantasy League's NBA fantasy lineup breakdown. You're up.
You heard the voiceover guy, or I guess you heard the voiceover. What's he talking about?
I don't know. He likes to hear his own voice.
It's not time to break down.
He puts his voice over things.
He's also in a booth in the corner. We really should give him like his own room.
No, we should keep him in the cage. Maybe
Yeah.
throw some bananas at him every now and
Maybe
then.
Seth can do it from now on.
You know what, Seth? During basketball segments, you also want to be our voiceover guy?
Ask yourself a damn question.
You'd be like, now the guys are going to tell me about NBA basketball.
That's true. You're better served as the voiceover guy during the segments you don't want to have input on. You cool with that?
I already told you I would be more than happy to introduce every single thing that you guys
Hold on.
want to talk
Can you
about.
be like a rapping hype man? I think that would be amazing if every time you just went, oh, boom.
I am like a hype man.
If you listened to everything I said every time we
You'd
had
be
a
good,
show,
yeah.
you would have NBA knowledge. Instead, you're just a moron.
What?
Oh, wow. We are getting, man, Zach, you just love to rip into him, don't
The
you?
kid's a fool.
Get a brain, moron.
On Moran. On Thursday's show, he actually did really well at basketball and hockey.
I'm proud of
For the
him.
people that are watching on YouTube right now, I'm nodding my head.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm a hockey. I can talk about hockey. I know about
This is
Listen,
true.
I'm not going to sit here and claim to be a basketball expert. That's what you guys are here for. You know your basketball. I know my football. I know my baseball. I know my hockey.
And on that note,
What do you want from me?
we are breaking down the lineups that Zach and I created today.
I thought we were talking about the Super Bowl.
No, next segment. Get out of here.
Damn.
You can't follow the format ever. This poor kid.
Knowing who the Yankees spent $100 million on doesn't mean you know baseball.
This is
I know
true.
enough about baseball.
All right, Zach. Let's
The
get
A's play in Oakland.
let's get back on track, guys. We did make lineups today on StarFantasyLeagues.com. The breakdown is always the same, but for our new listeners that are new to Daily Fantasy Sports, you get a $100,000 salary cap. You got to make your best lineup out of that. 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 centers, 2 utility spots, which are any position you want. Got to get under that $100,000 cap. That's the biggest part of this, or else you have an invalid lineup and you win nothing. Zach,
I get to pick on you during this segment. I'm pretty excited.
Why? You don't
or maybe not. If I like your lineup, then I don't have to pick on you.
Have you ever picked on me?
Not really. I actually do appreciate your NBA knowledge.
Oh, because I go on the radio and I know what I'm talking about. Seth?
You know, you guys need to give it a rest.
I'm not even going to let him. He's sitting there staring at the wall right now because he doesn't want to look at us.
I got to send him to a Rochester Razorbacks game.
Ugh. All right, let's go
I'm
first.
going to come in here with beans and throw them at your head.
Please don't. Let's go where I got some value tonight. At the guard position, I have like all guards. I went with DJ Augustine. I really like Chicago. That's pretty much my only thing. I like Chicago tonight.
Can't miss the value on DJ Augustine
Right,
at 9,200.
Oh yeah,
9,300.
He's 9,301. He's been really productive.
He's been playing great, and I'm glad that he's gotten a chance to get out there and get some minutes in. It seems like he was a guy back on Charlotte that just didn't get his fair shake as a young guard, still trying to find his way.
Yeah, what was up? Was that a like Michael Jordan thing?
I think that was
Did he
a
bench
Paul.
him and just
What's
wouldn't
his
deal
name?
with him?
Paul
Westfall? No.
No.
Oh no, I have no idea who you're talking
Silas.
about. Oh yeah,
Paul Silas
he
was
a
his coach when he
there,
first got into the league, and every time Augustine wasn't doing the right thing, he was pulling him out. That was a team that was so bad you had to let them grow, and he didn't let them do that. So I'm glad he's getting an opportunity, considering Kirk Heinrich is
atrocious.
not very
Does anybody
good.
actually know what DJ stands for?
Dennis Johnson.
Are you sure about that?
No, that's
Isn't
DJ
that a football
is
player?
Donald
is Dennis
Jones.
Dennis Johnson
That's
is the
another football
Celtics
player.
point guard. Come on, what is wrong with you, Seth? He claims to be a Celtics fan, yet doesn't know who DJ is.
I never claimed to be a Celtics fan. You keep putting words in my mouth.
No, that's actually
Seth
true.
does this.
He
Seth
actually
does
is
that.
a Celtics fan. Oops. All right, my next guy is Nick Calathis, who I think is the overall value play of the night. Mike Conley's not playing at point guard for Memphis. It's pretty much Calathis' spot right
This
now.
is a no-doubter. If you didn't have him in your lineup tonight,
lose.
you made a mistake.
Yeah, he's $4,006. He allows you to get the rest of your structure of your bigger guys in your lineup.
And the reason for this is he's a backup guard, and Memphis has a litany of injuries right now.
Yeah, that's a good term. Yeah, they have quite a slew of people that don't really play.
So
anymore.
Zach Randolph is not filling in for Mike Conley?
At point guard? No, he starts there. Remember Seth? Seth likes to think that Zach Randolph is the starting point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Well,
Although he
sometimes
can
Zach
fill up
Randolph
the
was-
assist column, that comment is just
That is actually
it's
true.
egregious.
He can. All right, moving on. The forward spots. This is the last guy I got in my lineup. He was basically filler, but I actually like his matchup considering half of his team is out tonight. Again, they have the flu. I think this is the tanking flu, actually. It's not the real flu. Ersan Ilyasova at 8,900. What do you think
That's a
about
good
Ersan?
price. He's also
He's been going off.
I know he has been going off. He's been playing well. He's also a good bet to have you biting your lip sometimes because he can come out there and do absolutely nothing, or he can go off. He's a very frustrating player to have on your team. But for the price and with their injuries, I can't criticize you for doing
It's not
it.
even injuries. They all had the flu. They were having a makeout party before the game, and they all just got the flu from each other.
Well, he's a really good flexible player because he plays for two teams.
Oh. Where's the joke here?
Minnesota and the
Oh,
Bucks.
ha, ha, ha. If you
You
were
get
listening...
it? Because
Remember when he said that in the last segment and we made fun of him?
Yeah, Seth, that's a throwback to like 5 minutes ago.
I know,
which
it's a
I've
throwback
already
joke.
forgotten. I've already forgotten.
The
about.
best
We're
jokes
done.
are the ones
Probably
that
a
have to
bad
be
idea to
explained.
bring up big screw-ups on your part
he
into
doesn't.
the
No, you
coming
know what?
segments.
If he owns it, maybe we'll stop making fun of him. We will never stop making fun of you on the air. Sorry,
Stop
Seth.
looking at
Maybe
me.
we can get our designer to make a poster for him of Ersan Ilyasova with a Minnesota jersey on.
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
that'd be fun.
Put that on my wall.
All right, I got
Minnesota.
LeBron in tonight. LeBron's a no-brainer. I love LeBron tonight.
I agree. I think he's probably the best high player on the board tonight. He could definitely put up a ton of points. I mean, him or Durant, but I didn't like Durant's matchup against Memphis.
Neither did I. That's why I went
And,
with LeBron.
Yeah, I think LeBron is a solid play tonight. He also seems to do very well against Detroit.
Detroit
He has
can't do anything.
He has
They
a
can't-
history of doing quite well against
They
Detroit.
can't really guard any position well, so that's usually not a problem. Another guy I got on there is Tyson Chandler. I really like Chandler's matchup tonight. That's pretty much the long and short of it.
Yeah, they don't have anybody down there that can defend
guard him,
a
yeah.
big like Tyson
Milwaukee,
Chandler.
and everybody's out again. Larry Sanders is the only healthy big guy down there. Everybody else is gone. Ilyasova can't guard him.
And it seemed like it took him a while to come off his injury, but he's finally
He's
starting
playing.
to play like he used to play.
Yep.
And having that kind of factor.
And they're playing a small lineup tonight with Carmelo at the 4, so I like his rebounding production even more now.
Yeah, with all the injuries that they've had to their bigs, they've needed him to come up big, and he's finally starting to play like that.
Yeah, another big I really like tonight is Andre Drummond, obviously playing Miami, who doesn't own a center that's over like 5'8", right?
I gave Drummond a good look tonight as well.
It was either him or DeAndre. I have another lineup with DeAndre, but I couldn't, on StarFantasyLeagues.com, I couldn't figure out. They were like $40 apart. And I was just like, Drummond's matchup's better, but DeAndre's more consistent. Who do I go for?
He's one of those bigs that can put up a lot more points than Roy Hibbert, but he's very similar to Roy Hibbert in that he likes to get fouls. He's not like he's a big guy. He's not a very athletic guy.
He's like hitting people.
Yeah, and you're not a very athletic guy and you're down low. That just happens, so that's always a risk. But he can put up huge numbers, especially in a favorable matchup against Miami, and he has this year.
Yeah, that's true. This could be my big hit or miss of the night. It was Andre Drummond against DeAndre
Probably
Jordan.
be a miss because you're bad.
Yeah, we know that's not true at all.
Against Miami.
Yeah. My last two players are Courtney Lee. Obviously, Mike Conley's out. You said a bunch of injuries in Memphis. They're playing an up-tempo team in Oklahoma City. That'll probably be more high scoring than they're used to. So somebody's got to score these points.
Courtney Lee's not going to blow up. You know that. He's probably not a guy that
25 points is
25
still for
points
7,000?
is perfectly fine for the value. Yeah. He has been performing like that, somewhere in between the area of 18 to 25 fantasy points as of late, regardless of the injuries, and there's more injuries to this team lately. No problem with that.
Yeah. All right, my last
guy, Courtney Lee tonight.
My last guy is Blake Griffin. Again, love the matchup. Him and DeAndre have an interesting.
He was a shoe-in. He was a shoe-in tonight. You got to have him in your lineup, especially with how he's been able to perform. And this is what happened anytime Chris Paul goes down. Blake Griffin takes it on as his responsibility to be the scorer all game long. He gets big minutes, and I think he'll blow up tonight in a favorable matchup.
All right, so it sounds like you like my team, Zach. Is that accurate?
I don't have a problem with it.
We did it again. We don't have a problem.
There's nothing that I'm too upset about.
All right, we got 3 minutes to break down what differs in your lineup. Tell me who you agreed with me on, who you had in, and then break down who you didn't have and what you changed.
I like John Wall tonight against Damian Lillard.
I had him in another lineup too. Yeah, he was a look.
And I also thought that Lance Stevenson had great value at 14,600.
Yeah, I don't understand why he hasn't gone. I mean, he has those inconsistent games where he's around 20, 25, but
it's right now. It's once like every 4 that he's putting up low 20s. But lately it's been mid 30s to high
40-ish. Yep.
Yeah. So I think he'll have a great game tonight. I don't think you can miss that value. I also liked Paul Pierce at 11,000 after I heard that Joe Johnson was not going to play.
Yeah, he was another one of those late scratches. You're just like, oh, yep, get Pearson, please.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere, and obviously against Philly, you literally cannot beat that matchup right now.
I don't think we could beat a deader horse with a deader
stick.
stick.
You got to poach Philly all day long.
Beat the horse. Beat him. Beat the horse.
It's like what I do with my drumstick that I have in my office to Seth.
Yeah, that's pretty well.
I just hit him with it.
That's beating a lifeless horse, not a dead horse. He's still here.
Or just my fist like a bongo.
Seth, he's still alive? Do you know any of the players we're talking about right now?
I'm just putting my feet up and waiting for you guys to talk about something that matters.
What if I... Oh, my God. You were here for color, apparently, and that color is just red. You were just raging.
The color's been drained from my face when you guys come in and rip on me, call me a moron, and
nobody called you a moron.
Useless waste of space and
no one...
nothing sitting in the chair.
I called him a moron, and I did say he was a bag of air.
I didn't hear any of
Words hurt.
But I don't remember it, so it probably didn't happen.
All right, who else you got tonight, Zach, before Seth completely derails this show again for the 18th straight day?
I had a little bit different from the center positions. I have Larry Sanders and Enes Kanter in tonight.
Oh, Enes Kanter.
I know you had a bad night with him, so I'm sure you've been trying away with him.
What a vortex of awful Enes. You see Derek Favors out, you see,
Derek Favors
Enes
is going to be out. He got 35 fantasy points last game. He's under 10,000. I think that's the best value for centers today. And Larry Sanders, who's at 10,100.
Well, because nobody's in.
With Udo out and John Henson out, he should more than be able to
Is he playing 48 minutes tonight? Is it possible? He might.
It could happen.
Yeah, he could.
But Pachulia's back. Not that I really care.
Oh, my.
It's one of my favorite players in the NBA.
Zaza
loves to fight. Who do you got? You got the last two, or are you the same as me?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Those are my different. And I have Wilson Chandler in tonight, who I like against the Clippers.
Oh, that's not a bad way to end it, because I actually kind of like Wilson Chandler. Him and his 8,000 tattoos. He's got literally 8,000 tattoos.
Like a Birdman.
Yeah, pretty much, except he's the Black Birdman. Close enough, right? Coming up, we're going to talk NFL preseason accountability, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Jonathan, Zach, and Seth.
You're up.
Finally, the voiceover guy got it right. It is Jonathan, Zach, and Seth here on the Star Fantasy League show. Please tweet us at SFL Show. We want to hear some of your feedback or feedback in general. Anything. Love, hate. Basically anything. We just want you to talk to us. We're very lonely in this studio. Like Seth said, there's a cage in the corner. We pretty much don't get out of here ever.
Yeah, we locked John in there overnight, and we let him out in the morning. We give him some food and water, though, so it's not all bad.
They barely walk me.
I think it's cute.
I'm not a pet. I know I do this for a living, but I am not. You can't cage me. Can someone out there? I wish we had listeners so they could actually come help me.
Can't keep me in my cage. I'm a bird and I have to fly. Can't keep me flying.
Oh man, this is why this show is the best part of my week, because just anything can happen on the Star Fantasy League show, and anything will happen except things that aren't related to fantasy sports. That's pretty much all we talk.
We can talk about the Super Bowl now.
The what?
The Super Bowl.
You can't. It's the Superb Owl. Didn't you hear that?
You're not Stephen Colbert.
Actually, I am. Okay, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Fine. First off, Stephen Colbert had one of my favorite commercials of the night, the pistachio thing.
That was one of the most exciting parts of the game.
That was funny.
It was difficult to watch that game. I'm honestly trying to put it out of my head, but here we are talking about it.
There are a couple interesting things that came out of that game, and one of the things that I liked a lot was that the odds, some of the sportsbook odds on safety being the first score was 4,000 to 1. And if you were betting in Las Vegas and you put down $5 on that, you made yourself $20,000. And I know that there was a person who had put a bet down on the Seahawks in Las Vegas to win by 38.5 points. $100 at 30,000 to 1. He was sweating $3 million last night from Vegas.
That's quite a large bet, but he didn't get it.
No, he did not.
He missed by 3 points, right?
He did by 3.5.
Ooh, how do you miss by 3.5 points?
Well, it had to be a touchdown.
Oh.
So it wasn't a field.
He's lucky he had the privilege of sweating that out.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, that's got to be incredible to sit there and watch.
Yeah, that is an incredible sweat.
I mean, who would have thought the Seahawks would win by so much?
I believe you guys laughed at me on Thursday when I said I was behind the Seahawks. You and Nick were like, "Nope, that will never happen in a million years."
Well, you had historically the best offense in the history of the NFL going against the Seahawks.
Okay.
And I just, Peyton Manning has been in the playoffs. He's obviously a veteran, probably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
If not the greatest.
Next to Tom Brady, of course.
Oh, my God.
Which, by the way, is a legitimate claim, I think, to say that Tom Brady can be better than Peyton Manning. I think there's an argument to be made after this game. And you know what? I don't think
maybe Matt Castle could get in the Broncos offense and run it just as well as Peyton, because that's what he did for the Patriots.
I'm not saying
if everybody got to throw screen passes all the time and wait 7 seconds back in the pocket, they'd be really good too.
You know what? I'm not saying that Peyton's not great, but I've never seen a quarterback actually hurt their legacy by making it to the Super Bowl.
That is very, very true. No matter what he does in the playoffs, he cannot win. He literally can't win.
He's 11 and 12 in the playoffs.
Yeah, loses last year, biggest deal. If he makes the Super Bowl this year, apparently if he doesn't win,
and unfortunately, the utter domination of Tom Brady that occurred a couple weeks before is going to fall in the background.
It's going to completely be
gone. There's a huge difference between the receivers that Peyton Manning was throwing to and the receivers that Tom Brady was throwing to this year. It's just massive.
But
you can't compare.
Russell Wilson was throwing to the same caliber of receivers in Seattle, and he did great with it.
Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson did the most for that team on the ground, and their defense won them more games. Obviously, defense wins championships. We can see that today.
I mean, I agree it is better to throw to more quality receivers, but if you overthrow any receiver by 10 yards, they probably can't catch it, which Tom Brady did like 8 times.
That's true.
That's true.
Can we go stud of the night? Doesn't have to be a player. It could be a commercial. It could be part of the Super Bowl experience. What was your favorite part of the night?
Watching the Seahawks defense just be surgical.
That's your favorite part of the night?
I mean, I didn't enjoy the game necessarily because the Broncos just got tossed, and I was rooting for the Broncos.
I set you up a meatball there, and you didn't knock it out of the park. How do you not go with Bruno Mars for win of the night?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he was great.
I think that they should have Bruno Mars back every single halftime show.
By the way, coming to Buffalo in July.
Absolutely.
We are definitely going to that.
A fantastic performer, but talking about the game, the Seahawks defense was just smothering. Peyton Manning didn't look comfortable in the pocket at all, I thought.
He made the Manning face 12 times, and Eli made it 3.
And if you saw it, the Broncos defense literally never got to Russell Wilson, ever.
I don't even think he got
knocked down once. I think he got knocked down once.
He was
after the throw.
He was moving around when it was all by his own volition.
They couldn't collapse the pocket. They couldn't do anything to get to him.
This is true. You know who would have helped that? Elvis Dumerville. Oh, wait. Elvis gone.
They were pathetic. And honestly, they looked completely underprepared for that game is what I got out of it.
I just feel like they weren't running the same offense they were running the entire season.
It looked like they thought they were going to get there, and it was just going to happen. That's what it looked like.
All right. What was your big stud of the game? Best part of the game? Anything.
Well, I did see a prop online for whether the winning coach was going to get covered with chicken broth.
Yeah, it was chicken broth or hot chocolate.
I enjoyed that. Yeah. I thought that was pretty great.
One of my favorite parts of the game was when Noshawn Marino got the first down for Denver.
Oh, and everyone in the office went nuts.
And he went crazy. Like, that was supposed to be motivating, but they were already down like 22 to nothing at that point.
It was sad.
It was sad.
That's basically the trend of that Super Bowl.
And you're like something might happen here. You know, like Peyton's made crazy comebacks before. He erased a 21-point deficit against Tampa Bay in 4 minutes.
My favorite part of the night.
I'm not finished yet.
Oh, come on.
And all right, yeah, go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
Well,
no,
now
go
that
ahead,
you
Seth.
have your,
I'm just upset.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the night, and I think you might agree with this, was when we had about, I guess, 30, 35 people in the Star Fantasy League's headquarters yesterday watching the game, and it was a pretty rowdy bunch. When Peyton Manning threw that one pass and catch and run by Demaryius Thomas, and Demaryius broke down the field for, say, 25, 30 yards, and then fumbled. It seemed like the momentum was going to come back to the Broncos and maybe they can make a stand, but he fumbles the football, and it was just a moment of screaming, like, "Oh my God! Here we go, Broncos! It's about to happen!" And then, "Oh my God! I can't believe that just happened."
It was every single thing that they could do wrong, they did wrong.
That is correct. They did every single thing wrong.
And when it was 22-0 at the half, you're like, maybe they won't win, but something might happen in the second half to put them back in the game and make this exciting. And then the kick return happened.
Yeah, that's the dagger.
I don't know why they didn't kick that field goal before halftime.
And that was one of the worst kick return coverages that I have ever seen in my life.
Well, Percy's
they were
also
falling
fast.
all over themselves.
Trenton Holiday had nothing going on either. He just got stood
That whole
up. Same
team
with
was
Wes
bad.
Welker. Demaryius Thomas put up a good stat line that was fantasy relevant in any game, but completely irrelevant.
You know what? I promised that we would do preseason accountability for NFL. Let's move from the dud of a Super Bowl to the biggest dud of a division in the NFL, the NFC least, because weren't they expected to be bad before the season started? They were pretty bad.
They're always kind of bad.
No, I mean, we've had seasons where at least two of them are playing for the playoffs at the end, but when they're both 8-8 the last week of the season, that's not 8-7. That's not playing for the division. That's playing for mediocrity. It's garbage.
I agree.
Garbage. Let's start off with the most garbage team in that division, the Washington Redskins. They are lovely, aren't they? What we do is we break down the can't miss, can't wait to drop, and no one saw them coming for the team. These are our picks before the season, so we have a little bit of actual accountability in our picks, so you guys know if we did well or not. Usually we do fairly okay, kind of, maybe. Except
Not too bad.
Yeah,
and some of our never saw him comings have been pretty good.
Yeah, actually, Zach, you've been really good on that. Seth had a couple that came out of left field that hit, so let's see what we did. Can't
Left
miss.
field. It's not left field when you know something.
Well,
Stop it.
you
hit on
pretty
some
high
pretty
on Zach Sudfeld.
Yeah,
so.
you hit us. Sudfeld won't be mentioned here. All right, can't miss. We pretty much went with Alfred Morris or Pierre Garçon. Zach went kind of out of left field for that one for the can't miss, but you hit it. He did pretty well this season.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. He was serviceable, and if you chose him around 5th or 6th round, you got the production that you wanted out of it. I was scorned by him.
It
was a tough season to watch the Washington Redskins.
I thought it was going to be Pierre Garçon this year for your can't miss, just because I thought that with all the hype behind Robert Griffin III, one of the receivers was going to have a big year, and I thought that would obviously be Pierre Garçon to be the beneficiary of that.
I went with him as the can't wait to drop only because I had him last season, and after his first week, I was so excited, and then he had that nagging foot injury that he just never came back from.
So my can't wait to drop was the entire Redskins backfield also, because in a Mike Shanahan system, you just get so many different things thrown at you.
That's true.
And you never know who's going to run that ball. Ryan Terrain, Roy Halou, Alfred Morris.
Yeah, they had
I don't even know if Ryan Terrain's still on that team.
They had 3 weeks of Roy Halou just going nuts, didn't they? He had 3 touchdowns one random week.
They go with the hot hand. It's just what he does.
That is true. And he's gone now. Thank you. See you later, Mike Shanahan. Nobody missed you at all. Zach decided not to answer this when we were on air. He just kind of flew under the radar. Do you remember who you kind of wanted for Can't Wait to Drop?
Who can I not wait to drop? No, I don't remember.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think so. You didn't say anything on the air.
Maybe it was Fred Davis.
Oh, yeah. No one saw him
But
coming.
I wouldn't have drafted him. So.
Yeah, no one saw him coming. No one will mention I said Fred Davis. I talked myself out of him while we were doing this, but I had to put it down just because I'm terrible, apparently. Zach, you said Washington's number 2 wide receiver. You were technically right. You didn't actually say one of them. You just said whoever is not Pierre Garçon.
Right. I thought there was going to be something that happened this year. I thought
it was Hankerson for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Somebody.
It didn't work out very well.
If you had said the other tight end, you would have been correct because Jordan Reed went nuts.
Jordan Reed did go nuts.
It was tough to have a Redskin anytime this year because Alfred Morris, although he was also serviceable, just didn't have any big breakout games.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't let him get in the end zone.
And he also doesn't catch the ball.
See, I thought it was going to be John Kitna after RG3 went down, and then Kirk Cousins
got
into an unfortunate boating
accident. Can you wait until the end of the show, please?
Moving from John Kitna to another quarterback that did nothing this season, New York Giants, for some reason, Footer decided to say Eli Manning, contributor to the show, Matt Footer, by the way. for those who are not listening who have no idea what I'm talking about. I said Victor Cruz. Zach said Victor Cruz. Seth, you on board with either of those?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any input on the Giants this year. I thought that
No.
they were going to have a painfully mediocre season, and it looks like I was right.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Can't wait to drop Hakeem Nicks. Injuries again?
Yeah, I mean, Akeem Nicks really didn't do anything this year. He was totally replaced in the stat columns by Ruben Randall.
He had a couple of good games.
Wait a second. No one saw him coming. Zach, you nailed Ruben Randall.
Oh, baby.
Yep, I said Brandon Myers, who didn't get a correct rub at all.
I had Ruben Randall on a bunch of teams.
So did
he
I.
was great this year.
Yep. Footer did hit Andre Brown. Andre Brown, once he was healthy, was great. But nobody said Peyton Hillis.
But he was out for most of the season.
Yeah, but still.
It's similar to the Shane Vereen situation.
Yeah, if you're okay drafting him, you stashed him, and he did good when the playoffs came around. That's fine. Fantasy playoffs. All right, Philadelphia Eagles, a team we didn't expect anything from, and they gave us way more than that. Way more than that. Can't miss for me, LaShawn McCoy. Pretty much we all agreed on LaShawn McCoy.
Oh, yeah.
And Footer during this segment was actually kicked off the air because he just kept saying stupid things. And
Sometimes you have to ban Matt Footer.
then he came back the next week, so I don't really know if the banning worked.
Well, we give him some time.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
he had
we
timeout.
appreciate some of the things that he has to say. A lot more things that I like to hear than what Seth has to say.
Wow.
Come on,
he was
man.
setting that
Shots
one
fired.
Up. All right, who'd you have for the Eagles, Seth? Can't miss.
Matt Footer.
You picked up Matt Footer?
Well, we seem to be talking about Matt Footer exclusively. So, yeah, Matt Footer, you're my pick for the Eagles.
He's our listener, so.
Can't miss you.
Oh, I talked to Footer the
How
other
could I
day.
miss
He
you
got
if you
your
walk
Christmas
away?
card.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so he was happy about that.
Great.
He thanked you for the $5 Starbucks gift card.
You're welcome, Footer.
I was going to say, you can just talk to him on the air, Zach. He's clearly listening to the show. Jeez.
I sent gift cards out. This year it was Starbucks.
Hello, Matthew.
Last year it was Petco. I don't know what's going to be next year. Maybe the eggnog store.
I got some great kibbles and bits from your...
That's a little weird. All right, can't wait to drop. We were all pretty high on Mike Vick being gone. Zach said Bryce Brown. Let's try to get away from this team.
Well, look at that. Annoying handcuff. It was so
no,
true.
It's true. No one saw him coming. I was high on Avant because who the hell else was there on the receiving core? Pretty much no one. Who was their second leading receiver? Oh, it was probably that, Riley Cooper.
Riley
guy.
Cooper.
Nobody saw him
Racist.
coming. Yeah, this is true. I somehow mentioned Nick Foles at some point.
If you did, I gotta cheers you for
it
that.
says I somehow called him. So
Nick Foles was one of my favorite pickups throughout the year. I got him a couple weeks before that 7 touchdown game. Oh my goodness.
All right, Dallas Cowboys. Quickly, let's wrap this up. I had Des Bryant. Zach had Tony Romo. Seth, who'd you get? Can't miss.
Tony Romo.
Yep, that's a pretty
Actually,
good one.
that's not true.
Oh.
My can't miss this year was DeMarco Murray.
Oh,
and,
my. What?
He was on every single one of my teams. I drafted him as early as I possibly could, and DeMarco Murray had a fantastic season.
Except for those inevitable injuries.
No, wait. It was Des Bryant.
Yeah, really.
Actually, it was all 3 of them.
Zach and I had DeMarco Murray, Zach and Footer had DeMarco Murray for the can't wait to drop because of the injuries.
I wish you could see what's going on in here.
I don't know. Why do you want to just fight? Why do we want to fight?
It
We're
was all
wrapping up
about
NFL
DeMarco
for the
Murray.
entire. This is the
DeMarco
last time
Murray
we're going to
was the guy
talk.
this year.
It's the last time we're going to talk about NFL all season. We had to end with a fight.
Let's tussle.
That sounds like something we'd do on the Star Fantasy League show. Let's just end NFL on a high note. That was it.
Kitna.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA
Sponsored
Network.
by John Kitna.
The Star Fantasy League show is now part of the Nick Monsanto show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now.
Yep.
We are wrapped up on another lovely edition.
So turn off your radio. Turn it off.
Here we go again.
turn
Another
it off.
lovely edition of the Star Fantasy League
Okay, leave it
show.
on.
If this is your first time listening, Seth likes to tell everyone to turn off their radios at this point of the show. Then he tells you to turn it back on.
No,
for
leave it
some-
on. Just leave it on.
Leave it on? Okay.
Yeah, leave it on.
Our show is 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 8 to 9 Eastern, 5 to 6 Pacific. But, guys, what are we doing?
We run the best fantasy sports site out there.
I don't care about that. What are we doing now that football's gone? I want to know that before we just plug everything in the world.
We've got some amazing games running for basketball, some amazing games running for hockey, and I just want to clarify that this radio show is not sponsored by John Kitna.
But we're working on it.
I'm just trying to reach out to John Kitna. So John Kitna, if you're out there, I would love to have a chat with you and just just introduce myself.
But can you actually break down what's going on at starfantasyleagues.com? Because the people who tweet us at SFL Show, they're like, well, you told me to tweet us for free money, but what's going on? Where do I use this free credit? By the way, can I still get that free credit on the site?
Well, John, of course you can. If you tweet us at SFL Show.
I'm Billy Mays for SFL.
Send us a tweet when you sign up at starfantasyleagues.com. As long as you're eligible, we'll give a credit into your account so you can start playing into some games and get a taste of the competition at Star Fantasy Leagues.
And it tastes good.
We have custom games you can play against your friends. You can play against you can make new friends by playing against the other people on the site. It's a great community. It's growing very quickly, and we're guaranteeing thousands of dollars every week in cash prizes.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Don't forget about that free roll. If you don't want to play for money just yet, we have Tuesday and Thursday. That's tomorrow. $50 NBA free roll for all new players. Sponsored by our Roto experts, and it's a great way to learn and play and see what everybody's doing. Get your feet wet with that. Daily fantasy sports on starfantasyleagues.com. That sound about right, Seth? Sound like some free incentives for all of our players?
It's great.
I get to hang out with you guys again tomorrow.
I know. How
I look
excited
forward
are you?
to it every Tuesday.
Yeah, you guys should join us tomorrow on Tuesday's show. We're gonna do a lot of the same, but I think Seth's gonna force us to talk hockey on tomorrow.
We might get some Chinese food too.
Talk some big NBA Wednesday.
Yeah, NBA Wednesday, talk some hockey. We're gonna have a lot of fun. But for the final time, I said this before, final time this season, let's do it, Seth. You gonna cry? It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm crying.
If you guys don't have John Kitna in your fantasy lineups,
Kitna.
we'll help you make a better team next time.
Kitna.
Catch you later, guys.